Hello and welcome to episode 4 of my Crochet Podcast. So it's only 2 weeks since the last one. I thought I'd experiment and try and do a podcast every week because at the moment I do them monthly, and if I did them every month that would be like 12 podcasts a year, which isn't many really. So I thought about increasing that and trying to do one every 2 weeks. We'll see how I go. I also want to share some yarn purchases that I made. So welcome, this is episode 4 as I said, and if you're new here, my name's Sam, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning, I really do appreciate that. I'm coming to you from the east of England in Norwich, and it's currently a really nice sunny day. There's a bit of a chill in the air. At the time of recording, it's the 13th of January. Also, if you're new to my channel, I don't only do podcasts. This channel is about sharing anything crochet, yarn related, a bit of knitting. I have tried to sort of take that up and I'm still trying. I will come more to that in a moment. So this crochet podcast will cover what I've been up to that's yarn, craft related, crochet related, and any finished items, any whips, which is works in progress, any new patterns, which there is today, any new yarn purchases and plans, also known as acquisitions, a lot of people call it, and any upcoming plans and events that's, craft related. So first, what have I been up to? So I've actually been pattern designing amongst working my regular job. I'll cover more of that when I come to the new patterns section. But yeah, I've been doing that, and I have had someone else test my pattern, which is good. I do want to try it in other yarns. Because it's only been 2 weeks since my last podcast, there's not actually a lot that I can sort of share that I've been up to, really. My little boy had his 5th birthday. That was actually his first day back at school, and the kids have only been back to school for a week. So yeah, I've not really had a lot of time to get up to much, really. But yeah, pattern designing is the main thing that I've been up to. Next is any finished items. And again, since it has only been 2 weeks, I've not got a lot to show you. I've got some progress, which will be my works in progress. I do really want to get on with finishing items and that sort of thing, but I am a little bit of a slow crocheter and definitely a very slow knitter. Now I'm learning how to knit. Yeah, I'm not afraid to admit that. If I'm going to do a podcast every 2 weeks, the number of finished items will be very slim. I'll just obviously show you the progress in my works in progress. So that comes on to my works in progress. I do have a shawl that I have been designing, which I'll show you now. Okay, so it's still attached to the hook, and this is my progress. So I want to make this a little bit bigger, but yeah, I've designed this. Basically, I just took some stitches that I've really liked and put them together. I have done a bit of a tutorial on the first 8-row repeat, so no judging, that was my first tutorial. I will put it out there, I'm sure. I've still got to do a little bit of editing. It would be good to put it out there to show you, and then maybe some of you can sort of pattern test it for me that way as well. So I've not technically written, a final pattern for it. Yeah, I just love the stitch repeat. I'll show you where it starts from. Where you can see the yarn here is where it starts. And yeah, as I said, it's an 8-row repeat. You've got some double crochets in there. The way I'll show you from this row, it's a bit more clearer. So the way I've used the double crochet stitches and with some chains in between, it creates this sort of mesh-like effect. And then I've got some puff stitches in there as well. Yeah, I just really like the pattern repeat on this. I designed this in mind for like an advent, where you could perhaps use loads of different colours through there, maybe like a fade. I think that would be really nice. You can get some yarns, which one of my pattern testers is using at the moment, and yeah, it's creating like a nice, almost like a self-striping effect. It's in an Aran weight yarn that I'm using by Women's Institute by Hobbycraft. It is 100% acrylic, and I am becoming a little bit more conscious on what I buy yarn related. I do want to try to stick with more sort of natural fibres, something that's a little bit more eco-friendly, although there are some acrylic yarns that I really do like, and this is one of them. It's in like a pink tweed effect. I don't know if you can see, probably not, but yeah, it has got some like tweed like bits in it. I am really pleased with this, and as I said, this is a work in progress. I will continue until I've ran out of all of the yarn, which I've got this much left, so I'll just continue, see where I get up to. This will be a triangle shawl / triangle scarf. I've made a triangle scarf before, and I wear it sort of like so it's up round, you know, like this. I need to make it a bit longer because these tails where they come round and tuck under aren't long enough at the moment. Or oh, Lily wants to get into the video. You're on YouTube. This is Lily, my Labrador. Oh, thank you. Paw. You slipping. Get down. Good girl. Oh, she sat next to me. Good girl. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah. So that's one way of wearing a triangle scarf, or as I said, a triangle shawl. So it's a bit tricky with this hook on there. I'll just take it off for a second. Or as a shawl, you can just have it up and over your shoulders. I mean, yeah, could be big enough for a shawl at the moment, although I'll probably like it to be a little bit bigger, just so it's more versatile to use as a triangle scarf if I want as well. As I said, made with acrylic yarn. This is in Aran weight, and I do want to make one in like a DK weight and maybe a 4-ply / fingering weight yarn, because I feel that would give it a really nice drape. Now, I don't own any 4-ply or fingering weight yarn. I might have to make a yarn purchase just so I can test it out in this pattern, because I know a lot of people out there do prefer to use fingering or 4-ply yarn for shawls. I think because it gives it that drape. It's working up quite thick, a bit of a chunky shawl. It still has a bit of drape just with some of the stitches that I've used in there. But yeah, anyway, first work in progress. And my next work in progress is my knitting project. It's the first knitting project that I mentioned in my last podcast using this yarn. This yarn is by Stylecraft Softy Chunky. And yeah, this is 100%. I done this last time. I forgot what the makeup of the yarn was. Hang on. This one here, and it's 80% acrylic and 20% wool. So yeah, although it's got the acrylic in there, it does have a little bit of natural fibre with the wool. And so last time I think I show you like a ribbed scarf, you know, knit one, purl one. I made a bit of a mistake with that and I didn't like it, and it was too short in the width. So I frogged it. I think this is going to happen with this one. So I've been doing a stockinette stitch. Now, I didn't realise that it would curl up at the bottom, and then also it's curling up on the sides as well. So it's not staying nice and straight as I'd want it to. But I do like these V stitches. It's just like looks like a flat ribbed stitch really. But yeah, I am going to frog it. I am happier with the width of this scarf. However, because it's curling and everything like that, I am going to frog it and start again. I am going to go back to the ribbed pattern with the knit one, purl one, just make it wider. I think I want to double the width of the last one. I mean, this is practice at the end of the day, and I think these stitches look quite neat for a beginner. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. To create this, I basically knit all of the first row and then purled the second row, you know, when I turn the work. So that's how it's created this sort of pattern. And then on the back, it creates this pattern. I will frog it. It's just what happens when you practice something for the first time. You're not going to get it perfect first time, or every time for that matter. I'm going to go back to the knit one, purl one to make a ribbed effect and just make it wider for the width. And hopefully I won't get distracted to create different stitches. I think the issue for last time was I was forgetting if I'd knitted a stitch or purled a stitch. Yeah. Anyway, still a work in progress, and once I frog this, it'll be back to square one. For anyone who hasn't seen any of my other videos, this is the effect that I'm looking for. So, you know, a nice chunky ribbed scarf, basically. As I said before, I'm not using the Rowan yarn. I've substituted it for the Stylecraft yarn, because this would be well over £100 if I made it with the Rowan yarn. Another work in progress is my Battenberg blanket. So, how am I going to show you this? So this is where I've got to so far. I've got a lot more to join up, and as you can see, it's not fully joined. Where you can see the gaps, I'm going to come in afterwards to seam them up. I want to work on this. I've had all these squares made for so long now. So yeah, I've got all the squares made. I just need to join them up, and then that can be like a nice blanket to have in the living room. This is made in Stylecraft Special DK. So fully 100% acrylic, this blanket. I've used loads of sort of pastel colours with a contrasting darker colour. So the Battenberg blanket is by Sandra Paul of Cherry Heart Podcast. And yeah, I really like this. This is just a simple solid granny square, basically. She just made the pattern with one of these to create a bit of a Battenberg look, where you've got like the pastel-y colours in between, you know, a neutral. So yeah, makes it look a bit Battenberg-like. I have done a mock-up of where I want all the different colours, and I've currently got all of my colours like this. So I've attached them all together with what row number it is. If I show you this one. So this one, for example, is row 10. So I know that I want all these colours in that row, and they are actually in order of where they're going to be placed. Past me was quite organised with this. And then I've got this yarn to join them all together. And this yarn is actually the yarn that I used for, you know, the neutral colour in between. So this is another work in progress, and I really want to get this finished soon. My next work in progress is actually a bit of a long-standing one. I made this up quite quickly, and then I just put it down and didn't carry on with it, but it's nearly finished. So this is a jumper for my little boy. I've done the body. It's a raglan construction, so it's a top-down construction. Started with the neck and done the ribbing, so it's nice and stretchy. And then, yeah, worked my way down, sort of split for the sleeves here, and then worked my way down. And then I've done a little bit of ribbing on the bottom as well. And then I picked up and started with the sleeve. Now, I think I need to try this on him to see about the sleeve length. And then when I'm happy with that, I will then just add a little bit of ribbing to the cuff of the sleeve. And then I can start with the next one. Because once I've finished this sleeve and I'm happy with the length, yeah, I can just mirror that on the other side to finish it. So because I started it last year, I really hope it still fits him. But yeah, I really like this. It's nice and thick. It's using, I believe it's the Paint Box Aran weight yarn, and it's 100% acrylic. So easy to wash and everything. And I also made him a hat in the same colour. So this is using one of my patterns with the half double crochet, back loop only, which I still need to get on and do a tutorial for. I am going to keep this out so I can get it finished, because it is getting a bit colder now. So he would probably get quite a lot of wear out of this. Nice and thick, and I love the colour, as you can see in the background. So I got this much yarn left, which should be more than enough for, you know, the cuff and then the other sleeve. Hopefully I'll be able to get this finished by my next podcast, and then I can show you what it looks like. I won't be showing his face, but I'll try it on him and try and get a picture so I can insert. The pattern that I used was by MJ Off the Hook Designs, or MJ's Off the Hook. She has loads of YouTube tutorials. In fact, this is a tutorial on her YouTube channel, but I was given the pattern for this. It's the Arabesque sweater. I will link it in the description, and I will also put down here what it is actually called, like the pattern name. But yeah, it's a very simple construction. As I said, a raglan construction. It's actually the first time that I've made a crochet garment, specifically a jumper. I just need to get it finished now so he can wear it. This is one of the reasons I created a YouTube channel, so that I can keep myself accountable for my projects that I'm making. This is one of the reasons I created a YouTube channel, to keep myself accountable. You know, start afresh, new year, new projects, new patterns. I've got so many patterns that I want to cast on and I want to try. Sorry, I got my Labrador here. So they were my whips. As I said, that crochet scarf I willed frog. I did actually take it to craft group. I got a bit distracted, I think. I forgot where I was. Yeah, and I had a few mistakes in there. Yeah. Ellie said it looked okay and that I could go over in like a V-stitch to sort of cover that up, because I think what I did, I had done a few purl stitches on like the V-stitch side. Apologies, I'm still getting used to all the knitting terms and everything, so yeah, if that's not right, please correct me. I am a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to crafting, so yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of frogging involved when it comes to trying to knit, learning how to knit, you know. So next is any new purchases. Obviously there is. I'm not going to be one to, you know, sit here and say, right, new year, no buys, or, you know, limiting what I buy, because there's always going to be yarn out there that I see, you know, different colours of, and that gives me inspiration into like new projects and that sort of thing. So why am I going to deny myself of a new yarn purchase? So first of all, this is from Shannon from Blue Fern Yarns. She actually gave this to me at the craft group, and I just want to add, it is really dangerous knowing a yarn dyer who can just drop this off to you. She was having a 20% off sale, and yeah, I couldn't resist. So I'll show you what I got. Sorry about the rustling, hang on. I will edit this out, but I just want to say a little disclaimer. I have seen these because only because some of the ladies in the craft group was like, oh, what have you purchased? So I wanted to share, obviously, but yeah, I will show you now. First, tea. So first I will show you this one. So as I said, this is by Blue Fern Yarns, Norfolk based yarn dyer, and yeah, this one is in the colourway Succulent Tones, and it's this lovely variegated, but also a few speckles in there, if you can see. There's purples and creams. It's just lovely. Again, I got one skein of this. My plan with all these purchases were to create a similar colour palette so that I could perhaps use them all in the same project. But if I didn't want to, I don't have to. I love the colours of this, so I purchased it, obviously. And then next, along the same sort of colour theme, was this one. And this is in the colour Amethyst. So they're all on the same base, I just want to add, and that is the classic DK base, which is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. That gives me 225 meters per 100 grams, which I think is very generic for, you know, skeins of merino wool. Oh, why am I holding this one up? This is the one that I was showing you. So yeah, it's just a really nice sort of muted lilac colour with some sort of darker colours running through it, if you can see. But yeah, I thought that one might go quite nicely with this. And then next, I saw this and I just thought it was a little bit more vibrant. So this one here, it's actually got some blues in there, as well as purples, some creams, and some speckling. I do love a speckled variegated yarn, and this one is in the colour Larkspur, again on the classic DK base. But yeah, this is gorgeous. This is not for you, Lily. You cannot eat it. No. Okay, right. She thinks it's a treat. And the next thing I purchased from Blue Fern Yarns. Now, she won't be dyeing these anymore because they were part of her mini clubs in 2024, so last year. But these were the colours. So again, you've got purples in there. Last podcast, I shared that I bought some of her landscape minis in like blue colours. These are in purple. Now, I did the same when I showed you the blue ones. I would probably take this one out. So this one here is like a peachy colour, and I don't think this one really goes with the purples. So personally, I would take that out and then just use these 4 skeins in the same project. Can you see how they're making such a lovely fade with the lighter purple? Lily, you're okay? So anyway, can you see how these are making a really nice fade? So you've got the lighter purple here going into the darker purple. So yeah, I would use that in the same project, most definitely. And then another one of her landscape minis, which she won't be dyeing again, I don't believe, are these colours. So these are more like pinky purples, and every single one of these goes really well. If I swap these around as to create a fade, this is probably the order that I'd have them in. So these two are very similar, but this one is slightly darker. I think I'd have them like this in a fade. So each mini skein is 20 grams, and these are in the classic DK base as well. So yeah, this is all that I purchased from Blue Fern Yarns. And I probably would use most of this in the same project. I'm not quite sure yet what I'm going to make, but I say this every single time. These are in my stash now, and because I've purchased these in the same sort of colourway, once I find a pattern for inspiration, I can put them together and create that project. Now I've been designing a shawl, you know, once I'm happy with the final pattern, I could potentially use these in that sort of project to make a DK version and, you know, really soft merino fabric. So yeah, every single one of these colours I'm really happy with. And to get 20% off, bonus. So yeah, I will be adding this to my stash of hand-dyed yarns in merino. And then my next purchase was actually a bit of a mystery, because it's a mystery bag, and the actual price of the mystery bag was quite all right. I can't remember how much I paid now. It was either 25 or 30 pounds, and yeah, I just thought, oh, that'd be a bit like Christmas, you know, you're opening something that you don't know what it is. I just knew that it would be 2 skeins of yarn. So yeah, it was by Folk Yarn Studio, and these were the 2 skeins that I got in the mystery bag. So I really like this one because, as you know, if you watch my videos, I love blues and everything like that. This one was a bit different. Although I know they're put together, but there are some blues, like light bluey colours running through it. I'll take them out of the packaging so I can show you a bit better. Yeah, it's packaged really nicely. I'll show you this blue one first. So this is the colour. It's a slight variegated, no, what is it? Semi-solid, I think they class this as. But yeah, it's a really nice sort of light blue colour. And yeah, this is in the Luxe DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, and it's in the colour the Night King. So I think this is based off of the Game of Thrones, if you've watched that. Yeah, I like this one. And then the colour that she paired it with in the mystery bag was this one. So I'll just move the ball band up a bit. Ah, there you go. Can you see some blue in there? And then you've got some golds coming through, some creams. But yeah, this one's a variegated yarn. So this one is in the colourway Breaker of Chains. So again, I don't know if this is based off of Game of Thrones. Must be. Yeah, I'm not sure. Again, in the Luxe DK base. But yeah, she paired these two together. I'm not sure what I'm going to use this one for. I have got several blues that I could pair this one with. But this one, yeah, bit of a different one for me. Not really colours I go for. But as I said, you know, the mystery bag was a little bit of a bargain. So yeah. So her brand is actually The Lonely Knitter, but she also goes under Folk Yarn Studio. She is the organiser of the East Anglian Yarn Festival that I will be attending this year. Currently attending on the Saturday, but hopefully I can go on the Sunday as well. I just need to find out what my shifts will be nearer the time. But yeah, that's by Laura of The Lonely Knitter. And this is her branding for Folk Yarn Studio. So Folk Yarn is a yarn that she's created herself with basically local sheep wool. I can't remember the makeup of the wool, but it is by local farmers. And yeah, it's milled in this country and dyed in this country. So it's all very UK based, this yarn. I do like her branding. It's really nice, very simple. And again, she's added the East Anglian Yarn Festival flyer in there, which I'm attending. For anyone who hadn't watched my last one, the East Anglian Yarn Festival is based at the Norfolk Showground, and it's on the 15th and 16th of March this year. So as I said, I'm currently going on the 15th of March, and I'm going to the Big Stitch night the night before as well. Going along the same lines as the last purchase, I did make a few more purchases of some hand-dyed yarn. And again, there was a sale on, so I thought I'd take up the opportunity and yeah, I'll show you what I got. So I haven't opened this yet. This is by Moonlight Fibres. Now, I think I purchased one skein of yarn from them last year at the East Anglian Yarn Festival and haven't used it yet. It's like a cream and black sort of speckled yarn in a chunky weight. I think I purchased it with like a headband in mind to make with it, but I haven't yet. It's still in my stash, so you know, I'll use it when I can. So yeah, first of all, when I'm opening this, they are actually vending at the East Anglian Yarn Festival, so I can check out their stall and see if I can find anything else from them. So as I said, they had 20% off and I purchased a couple of skeins. These are gorgeous colours, really, really nice. So I'll show you one because they're kind of the same. Yeah, this is their logo, Moonlight Fibre. And the colourway is Tropical Bliss. So this is in a DK weight yarn, and again 225 meters in 100 grams, and this is 100% superwash merino. So if I just pull the ball band down a little bit, you can see the variegation in that. So you've got some aqua, teals, blues, purples, almost like pinky purples in there. But yeah, really, really nice. And I purchased 2 skeins to perhaps make a slightly bigger project with. Absolutely lovely. So because I purchased 2 skeins, I was thinking that maybe I could make a bit of a set. Maybe I could use one for a hat and then one for a cowl, so that, you know, I could have 2 matching pieces. So yeah, I absolutely love this. As you may know, if you watch my other episodes of my podcast or but just any YouTube videos, I love this sort of yarn, the variegation, the speckles, and most importantly, supporting small businesses with their hand-dyed yarns. But yeah, I love these. Oh, and they're actually at the Wool Monty as well. It's another yarn festival. I've never been before. But yeah, where is this? This is, I believe this is in Wales. So yeah, the Wool Monty 2025. This is going to be held on Saturday the 7th and Sunday the 8th of June. Have a look to see what I'm doing that day. Well, I work every Sunday, but yeah, I've got time to book that off. So it says it's an accessible, inclusive, welcoming, a different kind of yarn show. I believe I've watched YouTube videos covering the Wool Monty, and yeah, it's just like any other yarn festival really, or yarn show. A lot of hand-dyed yarn businesses, fibre artists and that sort of thing really. So yeah, if that's your sort of thing, check it out. As I said, I've never been before, but yeah, I'm open to, you know, check other yarn festivals out. As I said previously, I've been to the East Anglian Yarn Festival, and that was my first and currently only yarn festival that I've been to. There's so many out there in the UK, and I would like to attend some different ones. Not that they're going to be any different really to the East Anglian Yarn Festival. At least the East Anglian Yarn Festival is just on my doorstep. Yeah, I expect a lot of the yarn dyers that goes to the East Anglian Yarn Festival will go to all the other yarn festivals really. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it has to be a little bit more special, bit more different for me to actually consider going, because a lot of these yarn festivals are quite a distance from me. One that I can think of is Yarndale. That's in Yorkshire, I believe, in Skipton. And yeah, as I said, the Wool Monty, that's in Wales. Yeah, quite a distance. So it'll have to be a bit more special and a bit different if I will consider attending really. But yeah, anyway, that was my purchase from Moonlight Fibre. So the last thing on my purchases, I did actually get a £50 voucher from the Wool Warehouse. I would have covered that in, what would I have covered that in? Oh, my birthday vlog. So I got £50 worth of vouchers for Wool Warehouse, and I purchased this bag. This isn't all of it. There are some more on the other side. So I'll get them out individually to show you. Okay, so I'll show you the first one that I bought. I bought this Stylecraft Cabaret DK weight yarn. Now, if you can see, oh, isn't that gorgeous? You can see the variegation in there. I believe when you crochet it up or knit it up, whatever you decide to do with it, it creates a bit of a fade. Now I bought 4 balls of this colour, and I bought it with the intention of making a shawl with it or a triangle scarf, because as I showed you previously, I've designed a triangle scarf pattern, and I do intend to create more patterns this year, crochet patterns that is, because I'm only just starting to learn to knit, so I wouldn't know the first thing about designing a knit pattern. Anyway, my plans are to do more designing this year, so this would be perfect in a shawl. So I've got 4 balls of this one. Okay, just to share the makeup of the yarn. So this is 98% premium acrylic. I don't know how that differs to normal acrylic. And then 2% polyester. So the polyester is probably the sparkles in that, I could imagine. But you get approximately 230 metres or 251 yards per 100 grams. So the reason I chose this yarn is because it does have the same meterage as hand-dyed yarn in DK weight if it's merino wool. So because I've designed a crochet shawl pattern this year, I want to almost be able to compare it to a merino wool without using a merino wool in it first off. So I chose this one, and then I can compare how many meters I used in the shawl so that people who has, say, yarn advent calendars can make the same shawl with the same amount of meterage. I hope I made sense there. So yeah, absolutely beautiful colour, and I got 4 balls of this one. And then in the same yarn, I purchased this colourway, absolutely lovely. I think what makes it pop is the sparkles in there. Again, Stylecraft Cabaret. I didn't mention the colour of the last one. Hang on. This one here is in the colour Midnight Hours in the shade 2988. And then this one here is in the shade Shadows. Hope you can see that okay. And that is in the shade 2989. Again, I purchased this with the intention to make a shawl or some upcoming patterns that I have up here. Again, I got 4 balls of those. And then when I was looking on the Wool Warehouse website, I saw this new range come out. So it's by Yarn Smiths, and they have created a merino DK. Yeah, I was a bit excited about that. And on feel of it, it feels nice and soft, just like a merino wool is or should be. So I purchased a few different colours actually. So I purchased these colours, obviously. I've got 2 balls each of these, so that's 8 balls altogether, making it 400 grams in total. I'll show you them individually. So the first one I purchased is this really, what is it? It's like an aqua sort of colour. It's in the shade 3254. You can see how new it is. It's dye lot number 1. They've literally just brought these out. So this was the first shade I purchased, and then the second shade to go with that as a bit of a fade, although it won't fade, but you know, it will go from light to dark. This colour is in the shade 3228, and again dye lot number 1. So I think these are actually brand new to Wool Warehouse, and Yarn Smiths is their own range. The next colour to go with that in the colour fade, I don't know, is in the shade 3230. So yeah, that's a nice sort of dark teal colour. This colour here, you know, it's like a darker aqua if I hold these together. So yeah, you can see how they're going really nice together, not as a fade, but as a bit of a colour change. And then the last colour that I got was in the shade 3234, again in the dye lot number 1. So the makeup of this yarn, as I said, is 100% merino wool. Doesn't say if it's superwash or not, but again, I don't know the difference of superwash. There is 110 metres or 120 yards per 50 grams. So as you can see, they're small little 50 gram balls. That's why I got 2 of each to make up like 100 grams. So it would be the equivalent of like 100 grams skein of merino wool, obviously. So yeah, I just want to compare this to the feel of a hand dyed yarn of merino wool. Yeah, if I get this one out, yeah, this is 100% merino wool, and so is this one. So yeah, they both pass the squish test. They both feel as soft as each other. I'd go as far as to say that this one feels softer. I don't know if it's because of the way this is wound up into a hank and this is just a ball. No, they feel, I'm trying to feel it in the same way. No, they feel exactly the same. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that actually. So the Yarn Smiths Merino DK is on offer when I purchased it. So I purchased it, I want to say last week. Full price, these are supposed to be £5 per 50 grams. But when I purchased it for £2.99 per 50 grams balls. So I thought that was a really cost-effective way of buying merino wool. A hand-dyed yarn of merino wool, if you don't get it on sale, is around £20 per 100 grams. Even full price, this would work out to be £10 per 100 grams for merino wool. Considering they feel the same, this is a really cost-effective way of getting merino wool. Although buying it this way, it is a commercial yarn. You're not supporting those small businesses selling hand-dyed yarn. And then you don't have the option to have that variegation and, you know, the gorgeous colours that you get with hand-dyed yarn. Yeah, it's just putting it out there really that you can buy merino wool if you're on a budget. This is a very expensive way of buying wool and very bougie, if if I'm honest. So anyway, I did purchase all these balls of wool. So yeah, as I said, got 2 balls of each, and I did purchase these. Yeah, let me get them all. Okay, so I clearly can't hold them all together. Anyway, I did buy all these balls of wool to put into a shawl, and again, because of the meterage, you'd be able to convert this when comparing using like an advent calendar of yarn. So that's why I purchased this. I don't know if this will be used in the shawl that I've currently made a pattern for, or for the other ideas I have in mind. We'll see. Overall, I'm really impressed with these little balls of merino wool. I did touch on the subject very briefly, but this year it's not like a New Year's resolution, but I do want to be more conscious of the fibre that I purchase for my projects. I did last year purchase so much acrylic yarn, and that was mainly to crochet hats for my craft fairs. Going forward, I won't not buy acrylic yarn because I do have plans to have a few more Christmas craft fairs at the end of 2025. But for myself, I will be more mindful at buying more sustainable yarns with natural fibres, whether that's, you know, merino wool or acrylic with some wool in it. I will mainly be going for the 100% natural fibres, although there are some yarns out there that are 100% acrylic that I really like. One of them being Women's Institute, which is by Hobbycraft, and that is what I'm using in the shawl that I'm designing. So yeah, just want to make more of a conscious effort, I think. As I said, there are more budget-friendly ways of buying natural fibres. I watched a podcast recently. I can't remember the name of the lady, but she recommended Drops Charisma. It's a DK weight yarn, and again, 100% natural fibres, and it's very cost effective. I want to say it's a bit cheaper than this one. On sale, this was £2.99, and I believe Drops Charisma, you can buy that for £2.30 for 50 grams. So yeah, there is budget-friendly options out there if you didn't want to buy, you know, a sweater's quantity of hand-dyed yarn that's 100% merino. Say, for example, you bought, say, 5 skeins of yarn to make a sweater's quantity with. That would be £100 for a sweater if you used this type of yarn. However, if you used a more budget-friendly way with this type of yarn, say for example this was full priced at £5, you'd be able to get yourself a sweater's quantity for £50. So that's half the price. Okay, this is commercial yarn, and you're not perhaps supporting the small businesses out there, but not everyone can afford a sweater's quantity out of this bougie yarn. So yeah, just a little something out there for those who can't afford yarn like this. Yeah, I'm just trying to be a little bit more conscious that not everyone can afford that type of yarn. There's a lot of YouTube channels that I watch who use budget-friendly yarns, and that's okay. I feel there is a time and place for acrylic yarn. I know that I'll always use acrylic yarn in blankets because that's a huge project, if I'm honest. And to make a whole blanket out of, you know, natural fibres, that's going to be very expensive. 100%, you know, acrylic all the way for blankets, and it's easy to wash as well. Obviously the superwash merino is easy to wash as well. Saying that, I've never washed any superwash merino, but I have heard that it's easy to wash rather than the non-superwash. You just got to be careful that you don't shrink it, I think. So yeah, anyway, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but that was all my purchases, and I touched on sort of some plans that I have with them purchases. So yeah, these were my purchases from Wool Warehouse. As I said, I used my £50 voucher. I think I want to say, hang on. Okay, so I spent a total of £54 on all of this yarn, which I think is not too bad, if I'm honest. So I've got 2 shawls worth, of this cabaret yarn, and then I've got perhaps a shawl, like an extra large shawl's worth, or no, a shawl's worth out of this merino wool. Overall, I'm really happy with this purchase. So you're probably thinking, why did I buy so much yarn when I have a lot of yarn already? So I do want to get into pattern designing this year, mainly like crochet pattern designs. And as I said, I've designed a crochet shawl already that I'm currently testing the pattern for. And I do have other designs in mind. So one of them is like a boomerang shawl. So a boomerang shawl is where it goes thin at one edge and then just get larger until I guess you run out of yarn, or it's the length that you want it to be. So I've seen many other styles of boomerang shawl, but mainly knitting. So I thought of creating a crochet version. I'm sure there's crochet versions out there, but as I said with my triangle scarf, I just put stitches together that I liked, and I want to do that in like a boomerang shawl and just like a little bit of a different style. So I may use the same stitches in my triangle scarf in the boomerang shawl. We'll see. I might just omit some of them stitches and go for more of a lacy version. I'll just give you an example. So I may use more of this type of stitch to give it more of a lacy look, along with like maybe a thicker stitch definition in between. Yeah, I've got so many ideas at the moment, but I want to focus on one thing at a time. It's easy for me to get carried away with things. You know, I've got so many ideas in my head. It's like, woo! Yeah, anyway, I want to try and focus on one thing at a time. So as I showed you earlier, this is my first crochet shawl design that I've made, that I'm making, because I've not finished it yet. I want to make it a lot bigger, and I want to test it on different weights of yarn as well. This is an Aran weight yarn. As I said, I want to make it in DK weight yarn. So I've made the purchases, I've shown you, and these are all DK weight that I can use in this one. It's just so I know how big it will turn out in that type of yarn. And then I'd like to purchase some fingering weight yarn, or 4-ply as I think it's also known as, to again make a shawl in this design but in that weight of yarn. You do get more meterage with 4-ply, so I believe in 100 grams you get 400 meters, when in 100 grams of DK you get 225 meters, so it's basically half. I think a fingering weight yarn would potentially make this bigger and a little bit more drapier, so you've got more drape there. Obviously it's going to be on a smaller hook size, so initially I think, you know, it would turn out a bit smaller, but you'd maybe have to do more rows to get the same size. I think that's how it works. But yeah, that is my plans for my purchases, mainly to accompany patterns that I design in future or for this year. So yeah, watch this space, and yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe, because you'll then see more of my progress in the year with pattern designing and any new patterns that I come out with. Maybe you want to test out some of these patterns. Yeah, we'll see. I got this gnome book. So I've seen a lot of YouTubers with the knitting book of gnomes. I can't remember the name, but I did purchase it, not for myself, but for my stepmom for Christmas. There's a bit of a year-long gnome along this year. I know Helen from Giddy Yarns and Laura from Folk Yarn Studio is taking part in that. Who else? There's some others. Anyway, I wouldn't like to attempt to knit a gnome. I'm not quite there yet. I know how to knit, purl, and that's about it. Yeah, I need to come a long way with knitting before I can do anything like this. But yeah, these are crocheted gnomes. I can have a go with them. They've just got a whole range of different types of gnome. It's not just for Christmas. You've got some Easter ones, some Halloween ones, but I mainly wanted this book because I could use, say, this pattern and omit, you know, the little buckle on the hat and just make it into a generic gnome into different colours, you know, that sort of thing. I'm not sure when I'll get time to create one, just because of all the ideas I have in my head at the moment for pattern designing. But yeah, this is a really fun book, I could imagine. Yeah, these do look like they've used a really small cotton yarn. I'd perhaps want to make these in a chunky yarn to make like a big version of. So yeah, watch this space, we'll see. I do hope to make a couple this year. Next in my podcast is any upcoming plans and events. So 2 weeks ago, for my last podcast episode, I did share that I'm going to the Blue Fern Yarns afternoon tea, like Stitch and Natter, and then the East Anglian Yarn Festival in the March. But I have since booked something else, which I'm really excited about. So I've seen many YouTubers actually go to this place, and it's the Woolay Retreat. So if anyone doesn't know what the Woolay Retreat is, it's actually a yarn retreat, which is hosted by Lay Family Yarns. And yeah, they're a hand dye yarn company. They're based in Shropshire, which I believe is near the Wales border in the UK. And yeah, it's a long way from me, but I'll work out the logistics. So I've paid my deposit and I will be going in May this year. Basically, the whole weekend is craft and yarn related, which is what I'm all about. I'll be going down on the Friday, and they hold like an informal knit and natter at the local pub with a nice evening meal. And then on the Saturday, you meet up and get to dye your own yarn, basically. You supply your own picture with the yarn inspiration, which I'm yet to think of, really. I think I know what sort of colours I have in mind. Obviously, it's what colours I always buy. I need to figure out what picture I want to present for my yarn inspiration. We will get taught by Nick of Lay Family Yarns on how to dye the yarn, because I believe he's the one in the business who only dyed the yarn. Yeah, I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, if you know. So we'll get taught on how to dye our own yarn. And then in between that, we get to eat, chat, crochet, knit, you know, you name it. So yeah, it's like one big knit and natter weekend. It sounds really fun, and I don't know of anyone else going, so I'm effectively going on my own. But as I've found in this sort of crafty community, everyone's so friendly and easy to talk to. So yeah, I'm not going to be on my own, and I'm sure other people attending will perhaps be in the same position. I'm really looking forward to it. I've booked my accommodation, that's sorted. I've paid my deposit. I will be paying the rest. I think they expect it 6 to 8 weeks before the event. I just need to wait nearer the time to book my train tickets, because I'm getting the train down there. I thought it would be nicer to leave the car here, so because I'm going to be gone all weekend from Friday to Sunday, and then I'll be able to just get the train down there. I think it takes about 5 hours for me on the train, but hey, that's more crochet time. And it will make it a lot more of a relaxing journey. If I'm being honest, I get quite anxious on long journeys, and also quite anxious when I don't know where I'm going, or if I'm going to a place I've never been before. So yeah, it'll just make it a lot less stressful, hopefully. So they are my plans. And yeah, it's coming up in May. That comes to the end of my podcast. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this sort of content, and also to be notified when I come out with tutorials, because the crochet shawl that I have just designed, I will be making a tutorial for that, probably before I've written the pattern. We'll see. Yeah, subscribe so you can be notified when I create that content. So again, thank you so much for watching and joining me on my 4th podcast episode, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.